Welcome to the Squad Show. I'm Sam Ekstrom, Locked On Sports Minnesota. Looking forward to some Luke Braun special teams all 22 takes.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan from the Wide Left Substack. I am reporting live at an Airbnb from parts unknown committing crimes they don't want you to know about.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. Are you Team Blaze or Team Louie? Let us know in the chat.
What's happening? Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Remember, guys, when you're making my preseason fantasy gold jacket, my right arm's just a little bit longer than my
Oh,
left.
my God.
Okay, shooter.
Skol! It's the Vikings Squad, sponsored by Game Time. Everything Minnesota Vikings, every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the land of 10,000 lakes, the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. It's time to gear up. The Vikings Squad Show starts now.
Okay, so we're dispensing with the player personalities, right? The individual podcaster intros. We just changed jobs too many times.
Correct. Well, I mean, we no longer have Kirk Cousins and Patrick Peterson in the video, if that's what you're asking. Welcome to the Squad Show.
But they're still in the name drop one. That's important to me.
Hey, good. Well, because that's relevant, though.
Yeah, that has to be. It has to be former players.
Yeah.
Get Justin Jefferson out of that one, I think.
That's on brand. That checks out. That makes sense.
The Vikings Squad Show is part of Locked On Sports Minnesota and Locked On Vikings feeds on YouTube. Find our audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for joining us today. You met the crew. We've got a lot to get to, including a Vikings preseason win, 20-10, and plenty of takeaways from the victory over the Texans. How does it affect the 53-man roster projection? Nerdy stat of the day returns because we have real game stats to work off of. And ESPN with their future power rankings, long-term health of the rosters. We see where the Vikings fall in that on an episode that is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. And, we'll tie a bow on this early. We talked about how got a great deal at Game Time, like $3 tickets to go to the preseason game and give my kids a taste. And we set the over-under at 1.5 quarters. We would last. And it was a great over-under. Fantastic over-under. Because start of the second quarter, we started to get the, I want to go home. Can we go home?
Got the itch.
I want to leave.
A little restless. Yeah.
Started getting that after one quarter, which is very consistent with how they act at home when they're watching on TV. They got about one quarter, endurance. So it could have gone under if we had taken them up on it right away. But of course, we stretched it out. We got to halftime, and we hit the over.
Vegas knows, man. Vegas
out of there. Yeah.
is spooky.
Yeah. The bookies really nailed this. That's crazy.
They took into account all the variables. They
Sharps no.
Yeah, dude, their models are unbeatable.
They just knew that the Ekstrom patience that we're famous for would get us past that quarter and a half mark. Let's dive in to this game. 20-10, Vikings win. Who cares? More about the individual performances.
I'm going to say that during the regular season.
Vikings win. Who cares?
Yeah, more about the process than the results. More about the process.
Show me the baby. All right.
Yeah. I want a blistering hot take from somebody. What do we got off of this Vikings preseason win?
I guess the most blistering one I can come up with off the top of my head, because I wasn't thinking about that right before the show, has to be, I don't know, Sam Howell is a starting quality quarterback. That's the closest I can get to it. That was a great performance.
You could get real gross with it and be like, Sam Howell outplayed J.J. McCarthy, and then just ignore all of those contexts that make that a useless thing to say. But you could go there if you wanted to be a shock job.
If we wanted to clear out context like a vacuum, right? If we wanted to just say we're only looking at those two quarterbacks, I mean, Sam Howell played better. He did play better. If we're going to do that,
Max Brosmer was the best QB of the day.
Right.
Max Brosmer was so good, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, my poor Brett Rippon.
Yell at you though, Braun.
Yeah, he's good.
If you don't adapt to Brosmer, the Gophers people will get mad at you.
That's fine. Whatever.
I needed to see it on the field. I saw it on the field. I'm on the train.
I've stopped caring about Gophers fandom back when I was complaining about Who is the guy that replaced Marquise Gray? I forget. Seth Green? That's an actor.
Seth Green was
He
was the Wildcat 4th and 1.
That's the pilot for Mass Effect.
yeah, right. It's the Joker. Anyway, whoever. So it wasn't Seth Green because he did Wildcat stuff, but whoever replaced him, I was like, this guy's like not very good. And I got like a bunch of people be like, well, it's tough for an NFL guy to watch college football because you can't expect Peyton Manning. And like, I was like, are all college quarterbacks supposed to be bad? And no, actually, he was just bad. So now I don't care about Gophers fans. That was a decade ago, and I'm carrying it with me.
That's strong of you.
Do you guys care that Kevin O'Connell came out after the game and said, JJ had great command of the huddle. He was calm and collected out there. Like, is that a nice way?
He substantiated it. Substantiated it. He talked about how there were no penalties at the line and JJ had full control of what was happening at the line. He was making checks. He was calling protections and stuff like that. Like, he did more than just be like, well, his voice was deep in the huddle, right? Like, it was, which is like a thing quarterbacks work. Like, I want people to know football is really stupid sometimes. Quarterbacks will work on how deep their voice is, both in the huddle and at the line. That's just like a thing. And one reason that you knew that Iowa quarterback Tyler Vandenberg was never going to work out. You remember Sam? Blue 80! Blue 80!
Has JJ McCarthy shown any like cadence ticks yet in the 2 preseason games we've heard? Because you got to have
no Kirk Cousins-esque voice cracks, if that's what you're asking.
No cracks.
Right, yeah. No cracks. I mean, it sounds like but he doesn't have like the Teddy Bridgewater, like, okay, that voice is way too deep. But it works because Teddy threw like everybody offside all the time.
He did.
Yeah. There was a year where in terms of offsides called by hard counts, like, so ESPN just counted it all up. He led the league, tied with Aaron Rodgers. It was 2015, I think. And like sometimes that fake voice just works, and I'm excited to see how JJ McCarthy takes this piece of coaching advice I just dispensed on the Viking Squad show, which we know he watches. And
somebody is. At least somebody's wife.
Oh, first of all, 100%. Well, actually, Inman, you could probably tell us about that.
Live in the green room.
Yeah, no, but like I thought JJ McCarthy. Yeah, right. No, I thought JJ McCarthy looked poised, looked like he was confident, had command of what he was doing. I'm not going to argue he had the greatest pocket presence in the world, but I am going to argue he never panicked, right? And I think that he had the combination of patience and urgency that you're looking for that's really hard to get. That doesn't mean he got the timing correct. He mentioned on his Lucky Jackson throw that he was so used to having to get the ball out early against the Vikings defense that he just didn't give it the time he needed. So the timing wasn't always 100%, right? And that was the overthrow. But I would argue that he never panicked, but he understood kind of what he needed to do in order to get the ball out generally, quicker than a defense could get to him. So I'm encouraged by these intangibles, right? I would have liked, a couple better throws in the second half of his performance. The last 4.
Flores defense ruining JJ McCarthy's development.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Confidence shot. KOC, he had great words, but so did the veterans too. Ryan Kelly, Hawkinson, Brian O'Neill, like all those guys, when they were asked as well, said that the huddle was clean, it was sharp, things were smooth, things were on time, which, we talked about on the postcast, but like that's where it all starts when we're talking about assessing one drive in the first preseason game, first game for him in over a year. So I mentioned on the postcast, would have loved to see the dig route hit to Lucky Jackson, would have loved to see just one deep bomb downfield to see that arm. I'm hopeful we'll get that on Saturday versus the Pats, but everything, used the legs at the right moment, kept some plays alive, maneuvered well in the pocket, big picture stuff. I thought he checked a lot of boxes in a small sample size that we got.
I suspect that we're done seeing JJ McCarthy this preseason. I think we get him in the joint practices. I think that's probably going to be it. Could be wrong. I think it's probably done.
But I think you're correct, and I don't like that for me personally. Play the sound, by the way, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, from Adam Schefter, Dolphins running back and former Vikings running back Alexander Mattison underwent season-ending neck surgery Sunday in Chicago, per sources. Mattison hurt his neck during Sunday's game versus the Bears and was taken by ambulance to a local hospital and had surgery. So that sucks. We all love Alexander Mattison. I hope the surgery goes well.
It's a daily occurrence. I open up the ESPN app, I look at the news, and someone's having a season-ending surgery. And unfortunately, Rondale Moore added to that list. It is a daily occurrence in the preseason. Someone's getting
time
hurt.
of year.
Yeah, and
it's that time of year where people they're not quite tackling right, especially the third teamers that
and they're trying to make a play. They're trying to
really hard to make a play, but then their fundamentals aren't quite sound, and then they come in at dangerous angles and hurt themselves.
Yeah. It's tough too because we do have some pretty good evidence. I wouldn't say it's definitive. I retweeted enemy of the show Peter Bukowski of all people on this one, but we do have some pretty decent evidence that playing in the preseason does potentially help against injury going forward. Right, you compare the 2017 to 2019 injury rates versus the 2020 injury rates when we didn't have preseason. And there was something there that's difficult because the 2020 season was so fundamentally altered versus the 2019 season. So it's not a clean sample. And we did we did persist to having a higher injury rate in 2021, but we started the practice league-wide of stopping starters from playing in those games too. So I think there is some reasonably decent evidence that playing in the preseason for starters does help reduce injury incidents, but it's really difficult to think about that abstractly while also seeing in the news every single, game that some guy just went out for the year and you're like, why do we play in the preseason? And it's like, well, I know that we're seeing these injuries now, but it might, I'm not going to say with 100% confidence, but it might prevent these injuries happening more often in the regular season. Could be net worth it. Hard to tell that to Alexander Mattison as he recovers from surgery, but that might be where we are.
I would argue that number one story is probably the McCarthy drive, 13 plays. Probably story number two is the Rondale Moore injury and what it means to the wide receiver room and obviously the career of Rondale Moore, man.
And the special teams room too.
And the other leg, right? It was the other leg that he got.
I know you've talked about it a lot, Arif, but when you're rehabbing one knee, the other one does experience more wear and tear. That's not entirely just bad luck, but it's still really bad luck.
Yeah, because it increases the likelihood of something like that happening. Yeah, because you are overcompensating in your recovery and putting more on that other knee, and we have a lot of studies and evidence that suggest that other leg injuries are more likely. But that doesn't make it not bad luck. You've increased the likelihood of that, which is unfortunate, but it's still exceedingly unlikely that you'd suffer that kind of injury. And it very much doesn't look like an injury proneness type injury when you take a look at the tackle, right? It's basically a legal hip drop tackle, right? Legal hip drop tackle. Because it's not from behind with a twist with the leg underneath. That's the whole part of it. But a lot of very similar motions there. It sucks, man. But, it does, again, this is not a silver lining thing, but, kind of moving forward and advancing the conversation, it does maybe clarify a couple of things from the wide receiver depth chart angle and, open up maybe some opportunities for somebody we didn't expect, like a Thayer Thomas.
How hot of a take is this?
Inman.
Let me rip one off. How hot of a take is that? I don't even know if this is hot. Lucky Jackson is your number 4.
Not that hot. Not that hot.
That seems to be the case.
Yeah, I think
a couple months ago.
He's the guy.
Yeah. Anybody called that? Now's the time to take your lap because you were right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always staking a flag on spring league football guys, right? So I'm always going to take credit for it, even if I've never said it out loud in the show or in text in a post. I'm just going to take credit for it.
I'm sure somewhere in one of these football parties, there's some Lucky Jackson.
Yeah, these squat shows. These squat shows.
Okay, how hot is this one?
It was, the old football parties, the now defunct, very different show.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Well, I was so right on Lucky Jackson. I said it back on the machine.
He just looks I mean, not only in the pecking order where he got time and everything, the reps, Sam, but he just looks the part now. He looks actually a little bit improved as well. As a just more well-rounded, complete receiver out there. Granted, we're talking about a number 4, but he looks the part right now. And
how old is he? 26, 27?
28.
28.
28.
Dude, he's been around, dude.
Kurt Warner, the receiver.
Taylor Austin, in the chat, hot take Miles Price makes the roster. So this is the start
kind of decent
53-man projection, and this is probably what we would have as well. With Addison suspended, you've got Jefferson, Naylor. Felton makes it automatically because he's a rookie, not necessarily because he's ready. Lucky Jackson.
He did have a good game, though, I will say.
Crazy special teams game for him.
Yeah, great special teams game.
That's great to see. And then they had Deshaun Jones. It could be anybody. The number 5 receiver.
Deshaun Jones with a heartbreaking drop, right?
Yeah.
No, it's Bolden.
Silas Bolden with a heartbreaking drop.
Bolden had a
fantasy.
Bolden had a worse drop for sure.
Yeah.
Bolden
did not have a good day. This is my special teams take. Disaster in all phases from Silas Bolden.
Yeah,
terrible punt returns, terrible
he
punt
missed a tackle
guns.
too. Yeah,
I think there was a missed tackle. Just absolute meltdown in special teams from Silas Bolden. For the guy, I mean, I know we were mostly his best shot at the roster was he was an exciting returner at Texas. But the stuff that made him work at Texas, he tried and it did not work.
He tried.
He tried it. He tried to do the spin around run, cross field, flip the field, do the crazy thing. And it's a different world in the NFL. You're not that much faster than everybody else.
You could kind of see it hitting his brain as he was in the back half of that spin, whatever. Yeah. And he's like,
oh no, I'm as big as Ben Solak, and had to go down before the tackle happened.
In our group chat, Luke Braun just said Ben Solak rule.
New rule, Ben Solak rule. You got to be bigger than Ben Solak to be in the NFL. I don't mean to call Ben. Well, I do mean to call Ben Solak. I don't want to pick on him because I'm pretty sure we're the same size, but he's more famous.
I do want to pick on him.
I'm going with it.
Well, it's not just that you're the same size and he's more famous. He looks like a 16-year-old, right? There's you have at least looked like you have begun growing up since we started doing these podcasts. You're now, I wouldn't say you wouldn't get carded or anything like that, but you're now maybe of drinking age. Ben Solak continues to be 16 and has been 16 since he turned 16 from when he was 14 3 years ago. It's just...
Babyface. Really, Will Riker, babyface.
Speaks to the longevity of this show that, our old intro, long defunct now, our old intro had the clips from, 2022 when we were doing this, and I can noticeably say, man, Luke Edmond looking younger. Luke Braun looking younger. We've
Arif
aged.
Looking the same.
Arif looking the same. Yeah, Arif looking exactly the same. When we return using the 53,
the show ages us. Is that what you're saying, or is it just being a Viking fan?
No, the Vikings age us.
Okay. I think it's like being the president. I think we all carry the responsibility to the office very seriously.
It's actually Macho Meech in the comments that ages me. I don't know about you guys.
I get it.
Who played their way on or off the 53-man cut line? We answer that next. Brought to you today by Yahoo Fantasy. It's the best time of the year. Fantasy drafts ramping up. And Yahoo Fantasy's turning things up like never before. Have you ever used a guillotine league? Guillotine leagues are now available at Yahoo Fantasy. Every week, the lowest scoring team is eliminated, and the last one standing wins. Spice up your fantasy team. Do something you've never done before. Maybe for 27 years, you've done it the classic way. Well, this is the 28th year of Yahoo Fantasy. Year 28 means you got to make a change. And they've got 28 big new features every day throughout August. They just kicked it off with Guillotine Leagues. Killer new way to play. Make sure you check it out. It can be rough. If you go on the Survivor, for instance, and you're the first one voted out, ouch, that hurts. But if you can be the last one standing, then you get the cash payout at the end from your buddies, and that is a lot of fun. So check it out. All the new features, Yahoo Fantasy and yahoofantasy.com/lockedon. Check it out for more killer announcements as August rolls on. It's Yahoo Fantasy.
Sam, can I ask a question about that, Reed?
I'd rather you didn't.
No. It's a compliment kind of question. Was it on purpose the wordplay with Guillotine League, a killer way to play?
Ooh,
that is in the copy, so probably.
Okay. It is in the copy. Got it.
Yeah.
Is it in the copy? It might have been improvised.
Who's to say?
No, it is in the
copy. Listen to any other Locked On show and see them reading it the exact same way.
I'd rather you didn't. Was so
never ends well. Just never ends well. 53-man roster projections. We talked on
Game Time.
Thursday and Monday about how that could impact or the game could impact things. And now we talk about how it did impact things. So Xavier Scott, I mean, let's talk about the RB3 for a second.
Yeah,
Xavier
let's
Scott,
go, buddy.
Preseason fantasy legend in the making. That felt like an RB3 out there. I don't care if he's playing against backups. That felt like an RB3. I thought I was watching an RB3. I might be on the Xavier Scott train. And also, Arif, you boldly chose Ty Chandler on your fantasy team. I took Trey Stewart, and
because I got sniped on Xavier Scott, right?
Xavier Scott was the 1-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I wanted Xavier Scott, and I was like, well, Ty Chandler's probably just going to get like touches, and I don't trust Trey Stewart, so it was tough. But like I was a Xavier Scott guy. I think I had him highest on our group rankings, and that might have been my bold take on the 53 back in May, that Xavier Scott would make it above Ty Chandler. So I've been a Xavier Scott guy for a while.
I have another special teams take. Xavier Scott, real good special teams. Great.
Yes, because that was Ty Chandler's path. The special teams
also
stuff.
Played Ty Chandler's role as the personal protector on punts, and he made I think a pretty good impact on kickoffs when they went his way on kickoff coverage. He also had a really cool one in the very first opening kickoff, the one where Tim Jones got a holding penalty. He was the other returner. They had two returners back, Ty Felton and Xavier Scott. And Xavier Scott had to scream all the way across the field to like get to a lead block, and he looked really good doing that. Excellent day of special teams. Took Ty Chandler's job. I think this is happening, folks.
Yeah,
that's crazy because how
many running backs did they keep last year with CJ Ham? Was it 5?
With CJ, I think
including CJ Ham, it was 4.
It was
just
4.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll say this thing about Xavier Scott. One, so he ran like a 4.5 at his pro day in 23, and I think that he's just playing faster than that, which is kind of cool. We don't have his 10-yard split times, which are generally just like a better indicator of running back athletic talent. But like, fine, whatever. We've seen, Kene Nwangwu, we've seen Ty Chandler, we've seen them kind of excel in some special teams roles, right? But when we've seen them play from scrimmage, we understand that like the fact that they've got pretty slow eyes has really hurt them in terms of their ability to be effective running backs when called upon. From what I saw, of Xavier Scott as a running back, I thought that he had reasonably quick eyes. I thought he was making decisions quickly and in phase with the blocking. Especially, I mean, there was like one of the early ones, I think his first one, he just got skinny incredibly fast to get in between two blocks that I did not see the hole for, and he did. Which, I mean, I'm a podcaster, right? Like I would hope, but like still, I have the benefit of being able to watch from the all 22, right? And he just has to make a decision in real time. And I thought that's the kind of stuff that's impressive to me. I think that his eyes are just faster, which is a really critical element of this role.
Do you have it? What did he run in 2023 40 time? Was it a 4.5 flat? 4.5
flat.
4.5 flat. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only question, I mean, do they keep 5, including CJ Ham, or to Luke's point, like we talked about on the postcast, even does he just come out and supplant Ty Chandler as that RB3, and Ty Chandler's on the outs,
two roster spots on two guys that do the same job.
I do want to point out that last year the initial 53. I don't know if they made a corresponding move later to fix it.
They often do,
but last year they only went with 3. They had Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, and CJ Ham. That was the initial.
And then Cam Akers later. Yeah.
And then Akers came in later. They may have had an elevation on game day from the practice squad, but that was the makeup. They released Ibrahim, McBride, and Nwangwu, terminated.
Oh, Ibrahim. Oh.
Yeah. Painful. Can I shout out Joe Huber? Yeah. My guy.
Yeah.
Joe Huber.
Good game.
Yeah, he had a great PFF grade. I'm sure you noticed, Sam.
I shouted him out on the postcast.
Not just a good, the best.
The best PFF grade.
Yeah, I think a lot of those Xavier Scott runs went behind him and Brandel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good to see, too. I don't know. I mean, we're talking about winners right now. Maybe we'll get to losers or just question marks. Tight end group behind the big 2, and then second and third team offensive line. They use 2 day 3 picks last year. We don't know a lot about those guys still, Juergens and Henry Bird. And Joe Huber comes in. It just makes me feel a little bit better. That some of these young guys are starting to flash a little bit.
I'm getting a DM every day about Michael Juergens getting a good PFF grade because I thought he had a pretty bad day. Kind of marred a lot by 2 botched snaps, and I don't know if PFF is including that, but
I don't think they are. I think they generally
they don't want to assign blame if they don't know.
Yeah, they just kind of avoid assigning blame if they can.
It's like, he's got an 80. What do you think about that? Like, all right, chill out.
I think when you ignore the snaps, which is, aside from that, how is the play, right? But if you ignore the snaps, Mason Cole style, I thought he was all right as a blocker. I'm kind of struggling to see where the 81 comes from, but given how bad third-string offensive linemen are in the preseason, because generally speaking, third-string defensive linemen are just more talented. I thought it wasn't bad, and so that's like kind of encouraging. But like the job is to snap the ball, right? And everything like flows from there, and you just can't have a snap exchange problem. I know that when we were talking on Blue Sky, Luke, that it looked to you that it was probably on Brosmer, that one botch
like
snap,
on
right?
the TV replay. I thought he kind of hook fingered it, but live eye knows.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's tough to tell, and also on top of that, what we know about how Jurgens has been performing in camp is that there have been a lot of botch snaps with him at center among multiple quarterbacks, and so there is some likelihood that that's actually on him more than it is on the quarterback, given that particular context. So that'll be kind of an interesting one to try and figure out, kind of what, especially because Jurgens now has a bit of a cleaner path to making the team, but. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. On the other side of the ball, though, Gabe Murphy, Jalen Redmond too, but like Gabe Murphy, let's go.
Beast.
Also,
quick,
big special teams.
As far as the centers, when Zeke Correll went out with that ankle, did Jurgens come back in?
Yeah,
I think he came back in.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Connell kind of blamed the second failed snap, the one that the Texans recovered right after the interception, on that, and he kind of said, well, guys that aren't practicing together all the time, and then they have to do the snap, and it's a little awkward, and I don't think Jurgens has snapped to Max Brosmer all that much in camp, which is a flimsy excuse, but I guess it's what he had to say about it.
Sure, they were practicing on the sideline like Bradbury and Dobbs, the morons.
That might be my biggest worry. My biggest low-key worry is not like if JJ goes out with a hammy for 4 to 6 weeks. What if Ryan Kelly goes down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the team has been
doing?
really excited about Jurgens, and they've not said that publicly. It's been like the Star Tribune people being like, yeah, every time we talk to somebody about this guy, they love him, and I haven't seen it, but I don't know if Ryan Kelly goes down, then I guess their money goes where their mouth is.
Is this the year where we are giving major hat tips to like the Vikings practice squad development? If they roster
to get like Lucky Jackson,
Xavier Scott, Lucky Jackson, Michael Jurgens, who I guess was on the roster last year, but like a handful of dudes. I mean, even someone like Theo Jackson, just the back end of the roster / practice squad, emerging, ascending, developing, kind of behind the scenes, and then taking these roles. That would be huge for
I think Mekhi Blackman's and Brian Asamoah's though too.
Right, like I think there's something there, Sam, but like I remember like way back in my Dale Norseman days, I made a point about how many like rookies made the roster for the Vikings. And one of the first comments was like, wait, well, doesn't that just mean that like the middle class of the team was just bad? Like which one is more correct? And I was like, that's a good point. And I think like to Luke's point about like Brian Asamoah and like some of the like the middle tier of players, that these kind of bottom of the roster guys that we don't expect to make the team suddenly making the team, it might just be more of an indictment of that middle tier of players than it is, a benefit to the Vikings or a boon for the Vikings that they were able to identify some of these players. Now, mind you, I think you're more correct, Sam. It's just something that we have to keep in mind, because I do think in a vacuum, Lucky Jackson looks good. Hey, we got Ivan Pace to start his rookie year, right? Like there's something about their ability to identify guys who are typically considered flyers or bottom of the roster talent, whether it's the year that they acquire them or 1 or 2 years after that, where they're able to develop and produce something meaningful for the role that they have or expected to have on the roster. So Xavier Scott makes the roster, Lucky Jackson makes the roster, and they're meaningfully better than players across the league at the same, kind of roster slot, like wide receiver 4s, running back 3s, or whatever. I think that that's like a pretty reasonable point, but we do have to just point out, like, part of that is because Ty Chandler was a miss. Part of that is because they kind of got an injury-prone player in Rondale Moore, right? Like, part of that is just because of the other decisions that they made on the roster.
Yeah. No question. Let's circle back to Gabe Murphy and let's use that to get into the nerdy stuff.
Analytics fans rejoice. It's time to get educated.
Whoa, you're blowing my mind right now.
With the nerdy stat of the day.
Gabe Murphy, 5 pressures in the game, sack and a half. Third most pressures in football in the first preseason week. Pretty good performance from Gabe Murphy, who feels like he is kind of on that like edge 4 kind of trajectory right behind Dallas Turner. I think obviously not bringing back Jihad Ward. You had Bo Richter in the mix. He had a pretty good game as well. Feels like Gabe Murphy, and this would be another example, Arif, of what we just talked about. Development from year 1 to year 2, being in the system, getting better coming into your second year from kind of the back of the roster.
We didn't like him his rookie year. Like, we thought his camp and preseason were kind of mediocre, right?
He was high on the consensus board.
He was super high in the consensus board.
Liked bringing him in, and then didn't like what he did.
Right? And then he also got hurt, though. He also got hurt. Can't remember if it's that training camp, preseason, whatever it was. So that kind of derailed a little bit of momentum. But he feels like edge 4, just like Lucky Jackson feels like wide receiver 4. Like, yeah, I guess there's still some competition and it's a fluid situation, but like as of now, that's like minus 400 right now in Vegas. It feels like.
I'll give one to your guy, Sam. I think you've been highest on Elijah Williams. 4 pressures and 15 pass rush snaps. That's kind of nuts.
That is actually genuinely
for an inside guy too. Like that's a crazy game. I didn't really catch a lot of what he did. I just couldn't really see it well, or I was paying attention to other stuff. And I haven't had a chance to go back and like really hone in and look at it. I'm really excited to, because it seems like he really had a game.
Nerdy stats, Arif or Luke Inman?
I don't really have any nerdy stats. How about this? Gabe Murphy and Caleb Murphy have the same number of pressures in the preseason. I don't know. Caleb, by the way, is
I don't know.
Caleb, by the way, is not Gabe Murphy's brother. That's Grayson Murphy.
Also UCLA alum. I don't really have one either locked and loaded, but Will Reichert, 4 for 4. He's back.
He's back, baby.
He's back.
All right, well, let's just talk about my guy, Elijah Williams, more. I feels like probably a practice squad, probably not making this roster, I wouldn't think.
Really, really tough to find.
That's such a deep group. I don't know.
But like sometimes these guys have such crazy preseasons that you end up just keeping an extra one and saying like, whatever, we'll do one less quarterback, or we won't, they'll just kind of keep the best players and you end up with 7 defensive tackles. And it's like,
I think is what you should do.
And then you cut one of them in week 3 when Addison comes back, and that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wasn't Gabe Murphy that last year?
He was on IR for a while.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
but
which is why we didn't really see anything out of him.
Yeah, okay. They do this though. You're right. Like they do stash 1 or 2 players. So in that spirit, Bo Richter, on or off?
On.
Yeah, I think he's the 5th. Yeah. Yep.
Also did a lot in special
teams.
Great
special teams. It's the special teams for him that really. Yeah.
It is, and he didn't have like a flawless special teams day. I think he had one sort of miss on a kickoff that he like didn't squeeze the lane the way he's supposed to, or something like that. But it was like a subtle mistake, and it wasn't.
And I also think he put enough on tape last year, though, too, in special teams too. If you look at the total sum for him, special teams is where he
hurts to give up that touchdown on the first team. That was an opportunity, and you don't want to be the culprit.
Overshot that bootleg. Yep.
It feels like they're definitely keeping 11 D-line. I mean, they got to keep 6 on the interior, the big 3, Redmond, LDR, and then Tyrion has got to be there too. And then the edge, it feels like you got to have a 5th. I think they're keeping 11. Offensive line, I'm not convinced they keep 10, but I think that, beyond School, Brandel, Jurgens, and Rouse, like the multi-year, second year, third year guys, veterans, whatever. Does anyone else make it on the offensive line? Is there a 10th?
I'd say they try to sneak Huber and Brown maybe on the practice squad. I don't know how they feel about Henry Bird.
Did Logan Brown play?
Brown played a lot.
He did?
Brown played at tackle quite a bit. I think he was right tackle. Double check that.
I saw Leroy Watson have a disaster game.
Mixed result.
Oh, man. I would imagine that If they go with 10, I think for sure it's Braun, and then they put Huber on the practice squad, and they just kind of, not because, Huber was necessarily worse than Braun. I think it's just a question of, like, who do we think is more likely to get poached? And I think it's probably Braun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they need to keep 10. I think they have enough position flexibility within those backup 4. Brandel can play 4 positions. Jurgens can play 3 positions. They've even flirted with kicking Rouse into guard if they had to. Like, they've got enough flexibility where I think that's plenty of depth. I don't think you need to force one of these undrafted guys in unless they really, really, really make it impossible to cut them.
Logan Brown played 19 snaps at right tackle, and my guy Joe Huber played the most of any Viking, I think, 55 snaps, all at right guard, and was fantastic. That's all I'm going to say. That's my guy. When we come back, we preview the Patriots joint practices. We get into the future power ranking story from ESPN and much more. Oh, we lost Luke Inman. He opened up our lads. Uh-oh. More show next. Brought to you today by Game Time. That's how I got into the building on Saturday. Got great tickets. Section 345, enough for the whole family. Got 6 tickets. Invited a couple friends. Very affordable. Very easy. Game Time makes it easy to get to the game. You've got good ticketing options right now at Target Center for the Lynx, Target Field for the Twins, US Bank Stadium this Saturday for Vikings and Patriots. You can get lower level seats for well under $100 at US Bank Stadium. That is awesome. So if you're tired of scrolling for the best deals, check out Zone Deals on Game Time. You get panoramic views from your seat, all in prices, no hidden fees. Game Time guarantee. Make sure that you they have your back if there's a cancellation. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. And the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKDOWNNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Rolling on, Vikings Squad Show. Check us out, Locked On Vikings podcast feed, or streaming live right now on the Locked On Vikings YouTube channel. Patriots joint practices this week. That will be Wednesday. That will be Thursday. Mike Vrabel's crew coming to town. Legitimately, what is your I know we got a lot of like fun former Vikings coming to town, but what is your favorite matchup that you'll be looking for in these practices against the Patriots?
I gotta look at the Patriots depth, because I think right now my biggest intrigue is on those kind of roster bubble type guys. Like, yeah, Byron Murphy versus Stephon Diggs will be kind of fun to watch, but there's no intrigue in that.
I am kind of curious how the non-Jefferson receivers performed against Christian Gonzalez. I've mentioned this a couple of times now. But that, to me, is kind of intriguing, especially because, we don't know if Jefferson's even going to practice. It sounds like maybe he won't. But that produces opportunities, not just for Jordan Addison, but I think that they'll cycle some in. If Lucky Jackson gets catches against Christian Gonzalez, like, it's go time. We have to...
we got to do here.
Yeah, like we're good, right? Like, so that's going to be part of it. The Patriots don't really have like traditional type edge rushers, right? Like, I'm trying to remember. It's like Anthony Jennings, who is a fine player, but not like a pure edge rusher. So I don't know if we can.
It's like get Harold Landry and Keon White.
Okay. So I don't know that we're going to get a ton out of like that matchup, but I guess we're not super looking into specifically the offensive line, defensive line matchups. I just want to see how McCarthy handles a different kind of pressure setup to kind of understand if like he can continue to make throws on time and stuff like that in a different environment, given that that's like one of the challenges that he like brought up with the game itself. So I like that broad level matchup is kind of curious to me, especially, and also the Christian Gonzalez one. What are you looking at, Luke?
I'm just trying to look at like some of the interesting depths. Oh, hey, Josh Dobbs coming back to town.
Yo, let's go.
And I think some of the interesting stuff is that interior. Another fun former Viking, Kyrie's Tonga, Christian Barmore, Milton Williams, and how our interior is going to hold up.
Good interior. Oh god.
Yeah, the interior O-line has had a rough summer. They had a really rough time all of camp. Donovan Jackson has a bad game in the first preseason game. is it just that, well, this is our ridiculous D-line is so good, or can the Patriots, who have also a pretty good one, can they do this too to them? Will we be able to kind of like hold up? But like on the second team, I was just looking like, let me see Levi Drake Rodriguez do something on this second team O-line. Ben Brown, Cole Strange, Tyrese Robinson. Let me see Levi Drake Rodriguez do a little bit more. I think he had an up and down preseason game. Taki Taimani made a couple of splashes. I don't think that battle's over, and I do think that you kind of only keep one.
What about Ben Urasek against Jelani Tavai?
Sure, man.
If he can't catch against Tavai,
if he intercepts JJ McCarthy, what's going to happen to your mentions?
Oh, they're gonna melt, dude. I'm cooked.
A camp interception on JJ McCarthy, and it's that guy?
Is that guy?
I see why our lads freezes Inman's computer, because it's happening to me right now.
Oh my god, it's so cursed.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Do we have any clarity on the Vikings tight end 3? Is Nick Vanette now on the inside track? The Italian Stallion let me down. I'm not sure.
He was behind both Ricci and Urasek were first on the depth chart.
You know what I mean? Like he's got
right, but like,
learn.
But
like,
like,
you gotta get the playbook first.
Ben Sims immediately took tight end 3 snaps when he showed up. Right, like it happens. I don't know. Like, think about it this way: Laquan Treadwell has 100 more career yards than Nick Vanette, and they entered the league at the same time. Like Nick Vanette is just a guy. It doesn't matter.
He's a blocker, and that's what he does. He's also a 10-year vet that's like on the verge of retirement. I don't know how serious it is.
Yeah, so I don't know. What was interesting to me is that in the preseason, it looked like Giovanni Ricci was taking fullback snaps with CJ Ham, like having done his like a starter snaps, right?
They've been doing that with Urasek too, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of Ricci in the fullbacks. I could look at the PFF snap counts. I won't because I don't like to be proven wrong. But I think it was a lot of Ricci at fullback with only a little bit of Urasek rather than vice versa. And I'm kind of curious about that, if that ends up kind of being the way that they perceive Ricci as a potential player, or they were just like, well, we only have one fullback, so.
Am
I wrong?
I'm having a read on that. Are they flirting with cutting CJ Ham and having a tight end do the fullback stuff?
No.
He has no guaranteed money on his contract.
No, you can't be doing this. What in the world are we doing?
Just what he said merited this sound.
Like,
God,
you want a hot take? Are they flirting with it? He's older. They save like $2.7 million. Urasek can do that.
Do we do YouTube shorts? That's the short right there. What Luke Braun just said. And then the rest of us
about it. I'm no happier about it than anybody else. But doesn't that kind of imply they're not going to have a backup fullback?
The title of the short would be Vikings cutting CJ Ham ... says a podcaster, but no one says
podcaster. You can
need the first forward.
Says podcaster only slightly larger than Ben Solak.
Yeah, so Nick Vanette, he's a guy. He's 31 years old. He had 135 yards last year, did find the end zone 3 times. 32 years old, I stand corrected. Journeyman might still, though, be a perfect tight end 3 in the Johnny Munt vein of tight ends. Like,
don't you besmirch Johnny Munt by comparing him to Nick Vanette.
What more do you need from your tight end 3 other than what Nick Vanette offers? Like,
you need Ben Urasek at tight end 3, Sam. You need him on that wall.
I mean, you need Giovanni Ricci. You need the Italian Stallion. But Luke Inman, welcome back. Luke Braun suggested CJ Ham was going to get cut. I say no. I saw him on the first pass pro rep at the game. He was unbelievable.
Well, what's it going to cost to trade for Johnny Munn? Could we just get him back?
Future
day 3. I mean, the way Kwesi spends some of those day 3s anyways, maybe it's worth it. Yeah, I'm very confused. Like I said, second and third team offensive line, but the tight end group as well just didn't really learn a lot, I think, from that first preseason game. And I think there's going to be a big drop-off at that tight end 3 spot from Johnny Munt. And it's hard not to, right? The best tight end 3 in the NFL per KOC. But, maybe it's Nick Van Nett. As far as CJ Ham getting cut, that's a bold take. That's a spicy take for sure. I'm not sure I'm on that train quite yet.
Look,
But
$2.5 million of guaranteed salary or of unguaranteed salary. They're working out tight ends at fullback. Both Jurasek and Giovanni Ricci have taken reps at fullback.
This doesn't work for me.
I don't know if they're going to decide to do it, but are they considering it?
No, I'm looking at the snap counts by drive, which, by the way, check out statbutler.com.
Oh, I think this only happened in camp.
What only happened
fullback
in camp?
thing.
No. Ricci was playing at the fullback position in the preseason game.
Oh God.
oh,
Yeah, but
no,
that's because Ham was in the starter reps, right? Alongside Brian O'Neill and Jordan Addison.
In the past, without Ham, they've just not done fullback formations in the preseason.
Okay, that's an interesting point. I think they just kind of want to know. I think probably what's happening is that they're teaching the tight ends more stuff. They're like, hey, sometimes we're going to have to motion into this formation and you have to play fullback, right? It all goes back to the one press conference question I asked that people liked, which was about the illusion of complexity.
Season 3 of Breaking Bad, when the guy that makes the good coffee is trying to learn a little bit too much about how to make the meth, and Walter White's like, I think I have to off this guy. Is that happening? Are we learning a little bit too much about CJ Ham's job, Giovanni?
I mean, Giovanni's gonna. If you come at Giovanni, he's gonna win that fight. So
who's Saul Goodman in this scenario?
Who is the sleaziest Viking?
Yeah, the sleaziest Viking. The problem is the answer to that would be before he got traded to the Vikings, just based off of the vibes of his face, TJ Hawkinson. But he had a great glow up when he came to the Vikings, right? He looks like a human you can trust.
Like
now.
the logo.
Yeah.
He does look like the logo.
He does. Yeah.
In the interest of position switches, number one, Khalif Hailasi apparently is a safety now. I didn't realize that change has been made.
They're like, hey, if you want to be catching tip drills.
Yeah. I saw a reference
tip drills. Good job.
Yeah.
Tavier Thomas also at safety.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, hold on. Are these position changes on the Vikings roster, or are you just looking at our lads?
So I saw the start.
That did happen in the preseason game. They both
Thomas
played safety.
At safety.
Okay.
And you can confirm that. Yeah.
Well, Hailasi played the Metellus role a little bit. He was kind of in the slot and around the formation, and he did a whole bunch of different stuff.
I don't think he's a significant riser on the.
No, I don't think he had a great game. Those 2 picks were really fun and flashy. They were both tip drills, and he had a missed tackle in there, and I think there was a coverage error.
You're right, but also you got to catch the tips, right? You got to do that.
We got to have those, right? That's same for Ambry Thomas. Catch the overthrow. Good for you. It doesn't move the needle a ton for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Inman, stop opening pages.
Inman apparently having internet issues this time. It's not our lads. Just, to be clear about the allegations.
3 questions in the chat we're going to get to when we return, plus a look at ESPN's futuristic power rankings. Quick pause. Make sure you join us again on
futuristic
Thursday.
when it's just future, right? It's not. They didn't. It's not a sci-fi power.
No,
ranking.
There's robots. There's robots and there's AI. It's accounting for a robot roster spot. Yeah.
Are they justifying having AI do power rankings for them? And they're like, it's futuristic, guys.
They do.
That would be an extraordinarily ESPN move. We just asked ChatGPT.
Speak of the devil, they do put the byline. Ben Solak is on some of these write-ups. They put Walder, but maybe it's just the AI version of Solak and Walder. Just the amalgam of everything they've ever written and said. So Phil,
I excited for number 4 overall team since a Boogie Wrangles.
When are we trading for Cam Akers? Asks Philip.
Someone's got to get hurt, I think.
Yeah, I think this might be a post week 1 trade, but obviously
kind of like Xavier Scott, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's the problem. We like these guys.
Most compelling former Viking on the Patriots? Asks Sam. I think you got 5-6 options. Dobbs?
I mean, Dobbs is eternally compelling, but just in terms of the ability to play, It might still be dogs, right? Because we've got Vidarian Lowe, we've got Kyrie's Tonga. Who else do we have?
Bradbury. The Bradbury bar. Can they pressure Garrett Bradbury and the offensive line of the Patriots? And, like, can they pass that test? That's like entry-level test.
I'm going with Tyrese Robinson.
Move on to the next level.
No, I mean, okay, so the guy I'm most curious about is Kyrie's Tonga, mostly just because, like, he's kind of in the... Who is that guy that ended up going to the Colts? Like, TJ Smith or something like that? You know, these big nose tackles that perform well in the preseason and then they cut that guy and everyone's like, what in the world? Why'd you do that? And then they have, like, maybe an okay career after that. I for once would like to be right about one of these guys. And if Kyrie's Tonga, who according to our lads, who we always trust, of course, is starting on the Pats defensive line when they do go 3 defensive linemen, if he can be good, which he's playing next to Christian Barmore and Milton Williams, I am goosing this in my favor as much as humanly possible. If he could be good, I get to be right, and that's the important thing.
I'm already at 7. 7 former Vikings as I work my way down the list. We've got Diggs, Dobbs.
Oh, right, Diggs. I forgot about that guy.
Epps, Marcus Epps, Parker.
Marcus Epps! Yo!
The Max Bosmer to Marcus Epps interception is going to hit like crack to Minnesota.
That's going to be so good, dude.
Christian Ellis, who was here for a minute, UDFA. Vidarian Lowe.
Player X.
Tyrese Robinson. Garrett Bradbury is 8. It's like half their team.
Yeah.
8. Half their team.
Got 8. Is that math? Is that mathing? Kyrie's Tonga.
No,
9.
you're right. You're right. No, yeah. As soon
I
as you
think there's
find
some future Vikings on this list too. There's a lot of similarities in the defenses.
Yeah.
And like I even thought like, man, if Brian Flores leaves, Gerard Mayo. I don't know if they're still running things the same way in New England, but there's a lot of differences. Or there's a lot of similarities between the kinds of players that you want, so I could see there being some future.
Yeah, Sam
we got a draft pick for one of those guys, so
right.
Total loss.
Sam Duckler points out Jaquelin Roy is Tonga's backup. Now, he is currently on reserve, right? Yeah, so that's why we didn't name him immediately because he wasn't. You had to scroll down to find him. But on our lads, which again, Inman, stop opening our lads. We'll do it.
Dude, it's not on our lads actually, which was minus 350. So if you took the long shot, you won today. We're looking at Xfinity. Figure it out. So I'm on a hot spot. I can't even see you guys. Half you guys sound like robots, which on brand for one of
your audio is coming through clear, but your video is just an incredibly muddled mess.
One pixel.
This is
audio.
So let's
preseason
get to
for
the
everybody.
Preseason fantasy update.
No.
Yep, we do need one.
Luke wants to hear about it again.
Yeah,
Lord.
let's get to it. I just want to say though
what people want to know.
By far, as we close this part of the conversation,
people
Stephon
really
Diggs,
care about this. Yeah,
Stephon Diggs is like the hardest practicing receiver I've ever seen, and in this
More
setting,
than Treadwell?
he wasn't doing stadium steps, so maybe not.
And getting in fights, yeah.
I think
Treadwell will
throw
throw a punch, you know.
Yeah, Treadwell was doing the work after practice, not so much during.
No, he was doing the work before practice. He would do the work during practice fights, and then he would do work after practice.
And then push-ups in between reps during practice as well.
Yeah, when he dropped a pass, yeah.
Which
right.
So
he got a lot of push-ups in.
All right, let's do a little screen share, show you the preseason fantasy team update.
I wish I could see this.
No.
As much detail as you can give. Be descriptive.
Dude, that's crazy.
Can you see
Luke,
it, Luke?
Luke,
Which
it says
pixel are you looking at?
It says you have 0 points, Luke? That's crazy.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
I would have sworn that you did well. No, Luke Inman's leading. He's got 40 and a half
That's
fantasy
so
points.
stupid.
Biggest performer, Gabe Murphy, by a long shot.
Single-handedly has outscored Sam Ekstrom.
Yes.
The Jamar Chase of the league. Wow.
Wait, LDR got no tackles?
LDR got nothing.
Dude, last year he led the team in tackles or something like that.
For the record, the source I'm using is ESPN box score, and if you want to submit a stat correction, if I miss something, you can do that by Thursday. That's our policy. You get put in the work. Find now waivers on Thursday. I'm gonna have to make a move because Thayer Thomas did nothing. Giovanni Ricci did nothing. Trey Stewart did nothing. My offensive players, abysmal. Defense held up their end of the bargain. I got one combined offensive point.
I'm gonna stick with Ben Yurosek. I #believe.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. Although the Nick Vannett thing could complicate.
I might have to get rid of Tim Jones though. The special teams guy who's missing tackles. Come on,
getting penalties. Yeah.
Like the Tim Jones pick was A, because I thought he'd get a lot of snaps, but B, I would get some back end support with a couple of tackles here that are on special teams, and that's not happening. So what in the world? What do I do? So I think I got to get rid of him.
Are we doing reverse standings for waiver order here?
Correct. So I would get the first pick. Players that were left on the board.
Yeah, we got a lot of points on the board.
Yeah. High Lassie, obviously.
Right.
Henry Thomas. Jordan Addison, I would say. And I still think it's the right move not to pick him. He's probably not going to play again.
But now you can't pick him up. Yeah, he's not going to play again.
Yeah.
That would have been a six pointer. I did have the third highest scorer in the entire week, Samaya Vaughn, 6.8 points. He was behind Felton, who was behind Gabe Murphy. But Luke Inman, just Mr. Consistency. He gets Lucky Jackson 6, Deshaun Jones 3, Bo Richter 6, Dwight McGlothern 3.4, Tyler Batty, who batted a pass 5.8. Luke Braun in second with 20.
So Luke's worst performer had 3 points, which is better than at least 2 players on each of our teams. That's so nuts.
A lot of no-shows.
Yeah.
Silas was scoring if he catches that one. I was really mad about it.
He was 100% scoring. That was in the bread bag. It was perfect.
It was like a perfect, like, what are you doing? I don't know, man. That's
who threw that, by the way? I totally forgot. Was it Howell?
I think that was Brosmer by then.
Brosmer.
Oh, jeez, dude. Brosmer
could have had even. Am I saying it wrong?
Yeah. Sam said it at the beginning of the show. You were saying it wrong.
I've been saying it wrong for weeks.
Dope.
You're saying it the way that every single person in Minnesota said it until like the season started for the Gophers last year, and then the announcers were saying Brosmer.
Yeah. So here's a good way to remember it. Eric Thompson sent this out on Blue Sky. It's Brosmers before Hosmers.
They're nice, helpful mnemonics.
Sure.
Bring that on Locked On Vikings.
Yeah.
I think people to consider on waivers this week. Miles Price and Dante Fleming, maybe? Dante Fleming made
a late ad, right? So, yeah.
Dante Fleming dropped touchdown.
Which means he's got a touchdown target. All right. I can work with that.
He's due.
He's
Red
due.
Zone merchant.
Are you going to drop Silas Bolden, Luke? This is crazy.
No. Well, it depends on what you guys do, I guess.
I mean, that's true. Yeah,
I'm mad at him
because somebody that we kick off of waivers, like if we drop somebody on waivers for somebody else, that person is eligible for like waivers going forward, right? So
it's
like
not going to come into play. I'll tell you that right now.
If I drop Tim Jones, Mr. Tim Jones, Luke Braun could pick him up.
That's not going to happen. I'm off the train. Okay, I was almost off the train after the first penalty, and then the second one. Well, it's over.
So I heard someone compare Tim Jones like route running ability. Not that he's really a receiver anyway, but he's like N'Keal Harry. He cannot move. It's like the Titanic trying to change directions. But there were two really pivotal moments in this draft where Arif went with his gut. He went with Chandler over Stewart, and that got him 4.5 points net over Stewart. But later on, I switched from Mish Powell to Elijah Williams, and that worked out well.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We debated about whether or not we would even let you do that, and mostly because I wanted Mish Powell, I said yes.
and that netted me 4.1. So we're going with our gut instinct in this draft. It paid dividends for the one that made that decision. But we'll do our waiver claims on Thursday's show, plus get into what we saw on Wednesday from joint practices. We'll preview the Patriots game, much more coming from TCO Performance Center. For some reason, that didn't strike me right. That's the name of the facility. Luke Inman died again. His router has abandoned him. That's all right. We'll be back on Thursday, Care 11 show on Wednesday. The big return of Reggie Wilson as well. So make sure you check that out here on Locked On Vikings, Locked On Sports Minnesota. We appreciate you watching, listening, commenting, and subscribing. Get us to 10,000 subscribers on both channels, Locked On Sports Minnesota and Locked On Vikings. Thanks, Arif. Thanks, Luke Braun. Thanks, Luke Inman. I'm Sam Ekstrom. See ya.